Good day everyone. Today I just want to show you this Toyota Corolla Seeker, which is my little cheap pride and joy weekend car. And I just wanted to show off a little review about it and helping others see if they want to buy one, just to see what to look out for when you're looking at one. So yeah, let's get right into it. So the first thing to look at is to know what model you've got. And they had a couple of models. They first started in 1989 all the way up to 1994 until the new generation of Corollas came out. And with the earlier models, you will see that the grille has more of an oven strip look, which is completely blacked out. This model is a Series 2, which is also called the Ultima. And you'll see that just in the back here, if you just bear with me. So if you see that, that means you've got an Ultima. And the Ultima was a bit of a special up class, I'd say. It's kind of like a Grande in a Kluger or a Highlander for the US. And what makes them a bit more unique and more up class is that it features power windows, power mirrors, and a steering wheel. That's about it, honestly. This one actually didn't come with air conditioning, which was surprising, but each to their own. And another thing I should mention too is that this Ultima, they usually only came with a 4-speed automatic, and this one is a 5-speed manual, which is pretty cool. So this car must have been a special order when it was new. So yeah. The next thing to look out for with these cars is you got to really just do a fine tooth comb just to look at the door panels, look at the top. For example, the only dent that's got on this car that is noticeable is obviously the passenger side. Obviously, it can always be fixed and repaired. You can do it yourself or get some professional to do it for you, but it really all depends on how much you want to spend on this type of car. So you want to also check the rust along here. This is not too bad, but it just starts to form. So have a look at all the way on the sides, especially on the rear boot. They love to rust along here, kind of like an AU Falcon, how they rust there. So they also like to flake off with the paint, and what I've done here, I've just completely scraped it off and sanded it off and made it look more of a matte finish. So that was cheap and easy. Usually the badges too, they start to fade out and they just look black, but you can, as I said, this is my little handiwork on painting them with just a little paintbrush. So yeah. The next thing to look out for would be your steering. Now, this one had a bad steering rack end, which is the rod that connects to the tie rod. And when you move it from side to side, you can actually feel the play in it. So I've done a complete new, I can show you if you guys want to see it. Just up there is the new steering tie rod here and the tie rod end itself. So those were both replaced and completely fixed it with a wheel alignment, of course. And I also changed the shocks, took out the reused spring. I mean, the rubber was not the best, but it's usable. So it's got all 4 factory shocks that I got from a clearance sale at Repco, and it was actually quite cheap considering how much shocks usually go for these days. Yeah. The next thing to obviously look at is the interior, of course. Now these all suffer from this, which just completely disintegrates over time, especially down to here. Steering wheel likes to wear over time. I was lucky enough to actually get a brand new one from a seller in Greece, out of all countries, which is pretty cool. And obviously The shifter knob does get worn, but I've also replaced that. These are the two things that you touch in a car all the time. So to me, it makes sense to have something nice and fresh. Even the seats can sometimes start to tear, so do keep an eye on that as well. The door cups, these all perish, just like this. And these were actually from the rear doors, and I swapped them over to the fronts because obviously you use the front doors more. But here's how the old ones look. They literally just flake off on the edges here, but I've just sprayed them black to make them look a little bit more presentable. So obviously check your rear seats as well. That's your little steering alignment that I did. And it's also good to check if the doors shut nicely. Just a good, it should shut nicely. Everything should line up beautifully. And yeah. Alrighty, time for the engine bay. Now, when it comes to an engine, anything can go wrong. So I'm just going to tell you what I've done to it when I bought it. And the first thing that it had was a misfiring issue. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe it's the spark plugs. I replaced that. Maybe it's the leads. I replaced that as well. I was messing around with the distributor cap. I stuck a new ignition coil in it. I even pulled it all apart just to give it a good clean out because there was a bit of oil built up in it too. That was all good. Then I thought maybe it's not the ignition. It could be your fuel. And turned out that these three were cheap Chinese aftermarket injectors. And that was causing it to run very, very rich, and you can actually smell it too. So what I've done, I've bought 4 refurbished Denso ones, genuine Denso, and that brought it back to life. It runs perfectly. And I'll give you a little quick sample for you guys to know what it does sound like. That's how it sounds. That's how it should sound. It actually sounds like an MX-5 motor. 4-cylinder engine. So yeah. Also, always start it when it's in neutral. I've done that before when I've tried to start it in gear. It's not fun. So back to it. Check for vacuum leaks. Check for all the hoses. These can get crusty as well. The coolant hoses. Just check all that. I've had experience where the radiator cap didn't hold enough pressure and it started to escape back into the reservoir and just pissed out oil everywhere. So yeah, check your radiator cap. That's very important. I got a new battery. That's pretty common for any car when it starts getting flat. The power steering pump here, mine has a small leak just coming from the back side there. It's hard to see. I've been monitoring that, but it works. So there's only so much you can do on how much you want to spend on this car as well. And mind you, I only spent $1,500 on this car, and it's probably one of the best purchases I've ever done with a car, because these days, what car can you find for $1,500 that is manual, red, 90s nuggety 90s fun goodness? Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this video has helped you shine some light on these amazing 90s nuggets. And if you got any comments, any questions, just please leave it down below and I'll be happy to answer them. Happy days.